Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be going over your August forecast for the year of 2021, and this is actually just going to be the start of many upcoming videos that will be also about the longer range pattern. We're going to start off today with the August forecast. For tomorrow, the 10th, we're going to have your fall forecast. On the 11th we'll have your fall foliage forecast. On the 12th we'll have your first winter forecast. On the 13th we'll have the total snowfall forecast. The first snowfall forecast will be coming out on the 14th, and the first frost forecast will be coming out on the 15th. So we have 7 videos coming up all about the long range pattern. So it's going to be an exciting week. I have a ton of content to bring to you guys, so I'm really excited to get it going here with your August forecast. All of the dates will be down in the description below the video. So if you want to check out when I'll be posting each individual video, you can just go down to the description underneath the video and it'll be right there. Also, if you have any questions about your specific area, just leave a comment down below and I'll be responding to you guys within a few hours of you posting that comment. So let's start off with your temperature anomaly forecast. Now, this is where I'm expecting the colder temperatures in this below average region. This is going through the entire month of August, so as an average, I'm expecting it to be below average in this entire region. I have two different areas. We have one in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, and another one down through parts of the Gulf Coast. Now, for the parts of the Southern Plains and the Southeast, I think that'll be more of a month-long type of event. Meanwhile, in parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, I think we're going to start off the month with those below-average temperatures. We've already seen that through the first part of this month. By the middle of this month, so the time period that we're going into right now, I think it'll warm up for maybe 7 to 10 days, and then I think we go back into a colder pattern to end off the month. So as an average, it'll come out below normal, but there will be different varying weather patterns throughout the entire month. Moving on here to your warmer than normal area, here's where I'm expecting above average temperatures. So this is the slightly above average region. You're not going to notice it too much. And again, these areas will all have their cold spells throughout the month. But as a whole, I think it'll average out to above normal. You can see that pretty much anywhere from the Great Lakes and the Central Plains on westward is where I'm expecting those warmer than normal temperatures. And believe it or not, actually have a moderately above average region in parts of the Northwest and also into parts of the Midwest and Great Lakes. Now the reason that I have that up there is because in the Northwest and parts of the Northern Rockies, we're expecting some ridging. We've already seen that really take place into Western and Central Canada throughout the summer, and it looks like that should continue over the next few weeks for this month. And then into the Midwest and the Great Lakes, I'm not seeing really too many cold shots. It looks like the colder air should be further to the east, to areas basically east of the Appalachians. So for areas west of there, into the Ohio Valley, into the Great Lakes, it'll either be near normal or even a little bit warmer than normal as a whole, just because I don't think you're going to have too many days where you're cooler than normal. So as a whole, I think it'll be above normal and moderately above normal within these areas. Moving on to your precipitation anomaly forecast. And by the way, right after this, we're going to be going into your overall forecast. That'll be at the bookend of today's video. So we're going to be going over just in general what you should be expecting, and I'll go into much more detail once we get to that section of the video. Taking a look at the precipitation anomaly forecast for the month of August, you can see that I have two areas of above normal rainfall / snowfall. We might see a little bit of snowfall start to pop up in parts of the Northern Rockies because typically by the later part of August, we do start to get a little bit of snowfall on the highest elevation areas of Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. So we might see that pop up. So this is for rainfall and snowfall in some of those higher elevations. I'm expecting more of it through parts of the southeast and the southern plains, with also another area of above normal into the southwest. We're right into the peak of the monsoon season in parts of the southwest, so they're erasing some of that drought that they have in those areas, and I think that should just continue through the month. So there's no signs that this is going to break up anytime soon. They've been seeing thunder showers pretty much every single afternoon, or at least every couple of afternoons. And that continual flow of rainfall looks to continue throughout the month. Really nothing to lead me to take that off the map, because it does look like that should at least continue or stay steady throughout the entirety of this month. Taking a look at the second area of above normal, I think there will be one area through the southeast. That's partly due to the very active start of the month that we had, and even leading into the middle part of this month. It looks like it'll continue to stay active in through parts of the southeast, and then in through the Rockies, especially in parts of Arizona, Utah, Nevada. Again, mainly just from monsoon season effects. That area of rainfall should shift from closer to the border with Mexico further north into parts of northern Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. So in July, we saw most of that rainfall again further to the south, and now I think that's going to lift up a little bit further to the north. So this is where I'm expecting moderately above average precipitation. If we move on to the below average area, I'm not going to put up an area of moderately below average, so I only have slightly below average on this map, just because I don't think there will be many areas that are too inactive this month. It looks to be a relatively quick moving pattern where we're going to see many storms going in and out, so I'm not going to put up a moderately below average area. But if there were one area that would be dry, it's most likely going to be up through the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast. Although, again, this is not going to be too noticeable. It's just your first shade of below normal. And again, there's still going to be plenty of rainfall for most of these areas across the month of August. Here's a look at the overall forecast, and we're going to be kind of showing you what each individual color means as we go through the next couple of minutes. Starting off in parts of the west, I'm expecting warmer conditions pretty much along the entire west coast. So from California all the way on up to Washington, warmer conditions are expected. It will also be a little bit more active, especially as you get closer to eastern California and Nevada. So those areas will be a little bit more active, but other than that, the only really notable thing about August in terms of the weather is going to be those slightly warmer conditions within that region. Taking a look at parts of the northern Rockies, we are potentially dealing with some early snow later on in the month of August, so we are going to get a kickstart to the snow season in these areas. And again, it's nothing that's going to be substantial. A lot of these areas are not going to really feel any effects, especially if you're in the lower lying areas. Really, the only areas that I think will get snowfall are 12, 13, 14, even higher than that, 14,000 feet up. So once you get above that threshold, once you get higher than that, that's when you can start to see some snow. It will be a reminder that fall and winter are very close. As we get into September, that's when meteorological fall starts. So we're getting very close to that fall and winter time frame when we do see a majority of the snowfall for the season. So that's just one more reminder. We will actually start to see a little bit of snow pop up on some of the model guidance and some of the forecasts. Taking a look at parts of the southwest, I'm expecting more drought relief. I'm not expecting all of the drought to go away, but I do think a good majority of it will be relieved or alleviated throughout this month, just because we are expecting fairly above normal amounts of precipitation. These areas really haven't seen too much rainfall up until recently for a good year. So until about last month, we really didn't see too much rainfall within these areas, and it looks like we're going to finally start to get a little bit more of that drought relief, a little bit more of that rainfall that should help to ease the drought conditions. Back and forth conditions expected in through this area of the Great Plains and even into parts of the northern and central Rockies. I'm expecting you to be right in between the area of above normal precipitation and below normal precipitation. You're also going to be in between the warmer and colder temperatures. So it's going to be pretty much all over the place. And I am expecting a kind of up and down type of pattern where we deal with a lot of these storms moving throughout this area, maybe clipping just the southern area, sometimes moving further to the north. So you're going to be right in between everything that's happening this month. There's not going to be one thing that's going to really stand out, but I think it's going to be kind of all over the place, and it's going to be a tough month to forecast in terms of the longer range pattern, just because it will be all over the place for these areas. drier conditions expected if you live in through the Midwest and parts of the western Great Lakes, and really nothing more notable than that for this month. Just expecting some drier than normal conditions, although again, you will still see a fairly ample amount of rainfall throughout the month. I don't think there's going to be anything really too major in terms of the rainfall, although I don't want you guys to think that you're going to go into a full-on drought. It's just going to be a little bit drier than normal, but still, you're going to get a decent amount of rainfall for the month of August. Average conditions in this gray zone, which is in the central United States. And again, nothing too outstanding in these areas in terms of weather events this month, or at least long range weather events that we're expecting. You are going to be in between the above average rainfall and the below normal rainfall, in between the warmer and the colder temperatures. So again, nothing really too substantial within this area, and you're going to be again right in between everything. So you'll be a little bit back and forth, but as a whole, once you look back at this month, maybe a few months in advance, you're going to look back and say that this area pretty much was fairly close to normal or fairly close to average. Hurricane threats are still going to persist along the Gulf Coast and the Southeast. For some reason, especially as we get into October and November, a lot of people think that hurricane season is over with by that point. They think that hurricane season is only from June to August or June to September. But in reality, you do get a lot of these storms later on. And I just want to remind you guys that the hurricane threats, even though recently they haven't been too substantial, we haven't seen anything really pop up recently, I do want to just mention that along these areas, you always want to keep an eye out on the tropics. So definitely just pay attention to the National Hurricane Center page. We are definitely going to see some threats out in the Atlantic, whether they make a run at parts of the Southeast or the Gulf Coast is still a question. But again, you want to just keep an eye out for that. Nothing to be concerned of as of right now. But again, we want to just pay attention to that. And I just want to remind you guys that we are still in hurricane season, even if it has been a little bit quiet so far. Rainy conditions in through parts of the Tennessee Valley and the Mid-South, and this is where I think you will be above normal. You're going to see persistent rainfall. While I don't think you're going to get any one event that's going to be necessarily flooding material, or where you're going to get maybe 4 or 5 inches all at once, I do think that over the span of a week or so, you could definitely get a few events, maybe 3 or 4 events within a week that drop maybe half an inch here and there, and that is going to add up throughout the month. So I do think these areas are going to be rainy and much more rainy than normal. So that's what I'm going to point out for August within these areas. Severe weather is going to be likely, and I think a little bit enhanced within these areas for the Mid-Atlantic and the Tennessee Valley for the month of August. My reasoning is because we are expecting near normal temperatures in the Southeast with cooler temperatures in the Northeast. So once you get a little bit of that division in terms of the temperatures, you can see some severe weather line up through here. And also, I do think you're going to see above normal rainfall in these areas for this month. So you add both of those things together, a little bit more of a temperature difference from north to south, and also a little bit more rainfall, and you could definitely see some elevated severe weather in these areas. Although again, that's a shorter term type of deal, so we can't really judge that too far out. I'm just going to say that above normal severe weather is expected for that area. And finally, in parts of the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, I'm expecting chillier temperatures, maybe a few degrees below normal. And again, we're still in August, so chilly temperatures in August, really not going to be too noteworthy. You're going from maybe a high temperature of 80 or 85 down to 70 or 75. So actually fairly comfortable. So you're going to be much more comfortable. And I think a lot of people by this point of the summer, you start the summer, you want all those warmer temperatures. You want to be able to go to the beach or go to the lake and go fishing with those warmer temperatures. But now by this point of the summer, a lot of people are kind of fed up with all the warmer temperatures and want just kind of a cool down from all those warmer temperatures. And I think you are going to get that, especially if you live along the East Coast or even in the southern plains and the Southeast. So definitely good news for those of you who want the colder temperatures. It looks like you will definitely get it for at least the first part and the last part of this month. Maybe it gets a little bit warmer in the middle. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. Remember that the full long range forecast schedule is going to be in the description down below. And also, if you have any questions or you want a personal forecast for this month in your area, just leave whatever your town or city name is, or whatever part of your state you're in, and I'll definitely I'll leave a response to your comment. I'll give you a personal forecast within a couple of hours of you posting that. So again, that is going to wrap it up for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.